Nice to see you too, virtually.
So welcome to Make Your Own Fun. I'm here with Linnea Swanson, and let's just dive into it. So tell me a little bit about. We'll get to the acting stuff later, but tell me a little bit about your writing and kind of like what you're working on. And did you get anything written? I'm sure you got a lot of stuff written in like the last 18 months when we were all like stuck inside, right?
Yeah. So a lot of my writing is reviews for Horror Buzz. So I've been very lucky to have a lot of opportunities to both participate in virtual and in-person immersive experiences and review them. And that has provided a lot of opportunities and really helped me expand my writing. I know it's just like, reviews, but I've had a lot of great opportunities to really work with my writing style and kind of just develop my own voice. And now I'm starting to get into writing about my own personal little thoughts, feelings, etc. Getting words onto paper. I talk with my hands
Are
a
you doing
lot.
like
So
more like like journal writing or essays or poetry or kind of like what are you getting your feet wet with now?
yeah, so it started with journal writing, and then I started noticing that I'm doing a lot of like single little sentences that are very poetic. So I am starting to work on poetry and really diving into that medium, and really excited.
You'll be really surprised. I think the more you do it, the more like a phrase I like to use is you get yourself out of your own way, and it'll just kind of like pour out of you. Like you'll be at a wherever you go, like out in public, like a cafe or something, if you have like a little notebook or journal and you're writing, and the next thing you know, you look up and you're like, I'm really hungry. Like, have I
Oh, I
eaten in
love
like
that.
3 or 4 hours?
Just time dissipates
I
essentially.
mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. So it's like I always try to remember like eat something before I leave my apartment because I might be somewhere. Like, have you done that thing where you've been like across from somebody and you get an idea and then they're just giving you that look of like, did you just poop out of your mouth or something? They're like, and you're just doing this.
All the time, like literally me, like people will be talking to me, and I promise like all my friends, whoever's watching this, etc., I am listening to you. I'm doing my very best. My mind just wanders, and if there's an idea, it's gonna just trail off, so ADHD. But anyways, yeah, no, it happens all the time.
So tell me, like, I think I saw that you either were in school or going back to school. So what's your area of study for that?
So it's completely unrelated to my interests and what I'll probably pursue career wise. Um yeah, so I'm
Good waste of
finishing up.
time and money.
Oh yeah, really it's a good waste of money. Honestly, like this degree that I'm getting, that was a lot of money. Um but anyways, I have one semester left to get my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Um, Not going to end up in it because it just depresses me. And if I try to make any change, I will be sad, and I don't want to be sad for the rest of my life.
But you know what though? Like, I think that area is going to be really beneficial for writing if you are going to write anything like a mystery, film noir, horror, anything where there's like elements of suspense, but also kind of like piecing a puzzle together for a story. Like that's huge to learn about like true events and real things that happen because the more you can base it in reality, the more people are gonna want to follow you on that journey because it seems familiar.
Definitely. And at the very least, I know how to cover up a crime scene. So I got you there.
Like you know where the bodies are buried. All right,
Yes,
glad you're done.
exactly.
Okay, uh, so um, so to move on from this total waste of an educational experience, what got you interested in the writing that you're doing now as opposed to like the educational stuff? So what got you into what you're kind of vibing on right now?
Yeah, of course. Ooh, where do I start?
At the
So I
beginning,
guess
always the best.
at the beginning. So it all started at a tiki bar, if I'm being honest. Really big vibes. Love tiki bars, Bamboo Club, Long Beach, California. Come through. No, I'm kidding. I don't live there. Please don't. Anyways,
People are gonna be
so
like, she said she was gonna be here.
she said she lives at Bamboo Club. Where is she? We demand Linnea. Yeah, no.
Isn't she supposed to
But
be here with like a little umbrella and the drink just welcoming us in the door? Such a lie.
like, shouldn't I see her in the corner, like, and go up to her? Like, isn't she supposed to be here? Immersive theater wise, etc. Um, yeah, don't try to find me in Bamboo Club unless I explicitly say I will be there. And even then, please do not say hi. No, I'm kidding. Please say hi. Um,
Right.
but anyways, so my whole journey kind of began in that tiki bar. I had the blessing of interacting with an immersive theater group as they were doing a show at the tiki bar.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they're called Black Mass, and I actually, spoiler alert, ended up working for them now. Who would have thought? But anyways, so
And
that kind of
I
just
know several of your cohorts, so you're in good company
yes,
there.
exactly. You know who I run with. But anyways, so that kind of started my whole journey through immersive theater, and then I got into writing about it, and that started at the beginning of the pandemic. We love telling time with using a
Right?
pandemic as like pre-pandemic, current pandemic. Yeah.
It's like every your life up through 2019 and then the drudgery that followed.
Exactly. So that really started me on the journey of writing about immersive theater, and then, starting to work that, and then kind of just starting to experience more shows that are making my wheels turn in my head and inspiring me and helping me kind of come to these conclusions that I'm like, hey, I feel big feelings. I should write about these big feelings. And now we're here vibing in immersive theater. That's all I ever do and think about and talk about.
It's
It's my entire personality.
But
But
you know what? I mean, it's so important, not just for you, but for like everybody watching this or the channel in general, that like all of the other like creative people that I interview, and it's just especially in the last like 18 months or so, it's just been so important for people to have some kind of creative outlet that's like not hurtful, not destructive, not emotionally like damaging to other people, but
fine.
like I mean, there's a great quote by Stephen King from like a long time ago, where he was talking about like being down in the dumps, and it was like a snowstorm, and he was like couldn't get out, and he was really depressed, and his wife was just like, just go in the room, just work on something. You're being a shithead or whatever. And so he goes in the room, and he was like, yeah. And I went in and I created this creature, and I killed off a couple of harmless little old ladies. And an hour later, I felt great. I'm like, okay.
Hey,
But
whatever works for you.
and it's like, it's words on a page.
Yeah, definitely.
So doesn't hurt anybody. So you've gotten involved with Black Mass, so you've gotten involved in immersive theater, and that's definitely what I would call mainly like the horror genre. So
Yes.
what got you interested in that genre? Was it something from like when you were a kid and you saw movies, or something horrible happened to you during like a trick or treat fiasco or something? But everybody's kind of got their story about how, because it's not, I mean, everybody likes to be scared a little bit, but it takes a certain kind of something to get people into that genre, that where it's like, okay, it could be a little mystery, it could be a little suspense, it could be a little science fiction. So I'm kind of curious to pick your brain about that.
Definitely. So, growing up, I was a total scaredy cat to the point of like, I didn't watch horror movies. I was even scared, like, largely about roller coasters. And I'm just like,
Oh,
anything
dude, the wooden ones, the wooden roller
that
coasters, the old rickety ones where you're like
scares me,
this,
no, thank
and
you.
you're like, it could end at any point. Like, why did I agree to do this? The metal ones, you're like,
Yeah,
you get your chances are better. You're more likely to get in a car accident, right? But like the wooden old rickety ones that I've been on like over the years, it's just like this should be fucking condemned. Like this itself is a horror
Yeah, it
movie
should
waiting
be
to
illegal.
happen. Final
Yeah,
destination, right?
exactly. Exactly. Like this is just not acceptable. I do not want this
But
to
the end is
realign
but
my
when you get
back or
off and when
whatever.
you're with your friends and you get off the roller coaster at the end, you're like, that wasn't so bad. But as you're like
Oh, it's
shaking
always
and you're
terrible.
like, oh god, a splinter is gonna come into my fucking eye or something. You're like, oh, I don't want to die. At the end of it, you're like, nah. Oh, look at
Exactly.
these pictures of me going like,
Yeah.
right?
Just like
There's like a bird
like
landing on your face. Yeah.
literally I'm just like I'll be on the ride crying as an adult now. Like I refuse to go on roller coasters. I'm a joy to go with, to not, because I'm like, you guys are doing that one? Cool, I'll hold your bags. I'll sit right here. You guys do that, I'll be here. Like not my thing. Yeah, I'm the
You're just
bag holder.
literally making sure that like the bench doesn't float away.
Yeah, exactly. I have a very important job and it's sit on that bench and not move.
And I
And
watch
we're gonna stay
everybody
right
else's like bags or cameras or umbrellas. They're like, "You're a trooper," and you're like, "Why did I pay to come here to sit on a bench
there.
and buy
Exactly.
like
Like,
$8 popcorn and like $10 drinks?" And
for real. I guess it's the
okay,
atmosphere,
so
but
tell me
yeah.
how you went from being a scaredy cat to not so much.
Yeah. So when I was about 14, 15, my friends dragged me into a haunted house in the local neighborhood, and I hated it. I don't remember much because I kind of just blocked it out of my memory. I
Were you like
cried.
walking in like fisticuffs, old school fisticuffs, like the whole time like this, with your eyes half closed,
Yes, and I'm
like
just like,
put them up, and people would come up to you and they'd be like, ah, boo, and you're like, get.
I'm like, yeah. Literally, like I remember flashing lights and pool noodles, and that's all. Like, just those things and being scared. Yeah. But anyway,
That's
so
the
that's
reason
very
why some places now like they don't allow women to bring like purses or like backpacks because people used to just literally take them and be like, and this like slice their way through people, and then people like they're working there like the next day they have like black eyes. They're like, no more, lady, no more.
exactly like cut her off. Like, no.
We're not allowed to touch you, so stop touching us.
Exactly. Yeah, I created that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't
Right?
create that role.
You're like,
But
can't see with a circle, copyright.
exactly. But anyway, so fast forward a few years, I went to Knott's Scary Farm because my crush was like, "Hey, do you want to go?" Or like, "Hey, sure." I was
Hey,
16.
hey, sure, I'll hold down the bench.
Exactly. So we went and I didn't pay attention to any of the mazes because I was scared. And burrowing my head in his shoulder, bless his heart, I don't know what he's doing now. But anyways, um I came to the startling conclusion that, hey, maybe since I don't like getting scared, I'll scare people. So I it was like, yeah, big moment. I started looking around for like haunted houses, like local haunted houses that are like hiring people, etc. And I found this one haunted house that turned out to be the one that scared me when I was 14 or 15
Wow.
and started scare acting with them. Yeah, full
I just
circle.
imagine you like practicing and like jumping out of like dark alleys, all like dressed in black, and people are like, "Ah, just go work there. We're so tired of you being like, ah."
Exactly. Like, like y'all want to see a cool trick, wait here, and then just go ahead. Boo. And then they're like, God damn it, Lydia, like
Like,
go
like, I was like,
away.
is that your mom's butter knife? Like, shut up and be scared.
Be scared I could stab you. But
With
yeah.
the
Yeah,
butt end of this handle, yeah.
exactly. But yeah, then I started really liking horror stuff because I was around it and now we're here.
Okay, so from that experience of like haunted houses, were there like like a group of friends or people you knew that kind of immerse you like in the world of like the film stuff? Because that's kind of where horror like lives and breathes is in like movie theaters, you know?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. back to when I first started getting involved in the film side of it. Um, it was actually through Black Mass. I got experience within that acting group where we, were exposed to horror themes. And then also, Raina hooked it up and connected me with Jen Nangle. And I ended up doing Thanksgiving last year. So
Nice.
2020? Yeah, 2020, the year we lost. Yeah, so that was kind of like the start. It was my first film project that was horror based, and I had done like student films before, so it was like a totally new element for me. And I'm like, oh, cool, we're gonna be covered in blood, nice. Um,
Bring on
so
it,
yeah,
kid.
that's exactly that's my
So you've had to,
goals.
I'm curious if you ever sat down and watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Raina. Like she knows like so much about that movie. She could pretty much turn the sound off and like not only do the dialogue, but I think she could narrate like exactly about like every location and all the props too. Like I remember talking to her about it, and I was just like, I should just turn mine on mute and just let her talk about it because it was pretty fascinating,
Yes.
you know.
I have not seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So don't come after my heads, y'all, because I haven't seen a lot of horror movies. But
But you should
yeah,
like
so
you should
Rita,
definitely hit like the big few, which I don't know how many I'll go through here, but so you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Have you seen the Halloween, the original Halloween?
the original one, yes. I saw that a few weeks, like a couple months ago now. Oh my God, we're in December. How did we
Yeah.
get here?
The reboots are good. I haven't seen the newest one, Halloween Kills. People said it was
I
kind
saw
of a drop off after the first one that they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis for, I think, where she was like much older. But have you seen The Thing with
I
John?
have not seen the thing.
That's one where you like you want to get a group of people together and like turn the lights off and like have popcorn and
Yo.
stuff. It's a John Carpenter one, same guy who made Halloween, and it's about a base in Antarctica, and a nearby base, they uncover a alien spacecraft that's been frozen in the ice, and then
Okay.
they cut out a section of the ice because they find a creature that's been frozen for thousands of years, and then it thaws, and then the creature can take the shape of anything, of
Oh
any
my
living
God.
thing. And so it's like basically like the old like 10 Little Indians thing where it's like, or like the original Alien where they kill off one by one because they can perfectly impersonate
Oh, that's
somebody,
lit.
even their voice and everything. And then I won't get to the end part, but it's got like pretty good cast. Like Kurt Russell's the lead. They did a
Okay.
prequel, which is also pretty good with what's her name, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh my God,
Yeah, and
nice.
it's like I just wish it would have made more money, so then they could maybe make like a bridge movie between the two. But
Oh.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's really good. Have you seen Alien with Sigourney Weaver?
I have not. Another one to the list.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about recent stuff? What about recent horror movies?
Okay, let's see. I'm halfway through Hereditary.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
halfway through that one. I just got to rewatch it from the entire thing because I was like doing other
creepy,
things
super
too.
creepy.
Love that. Love Midsummer. It's my comfort movie. 100% my comfort
That
movie.
movie's so fucked up.
I know it's my comfort one.
That
It's
says a
on the
lot
list.
about you that that's your comfort movie. Some people
Well,
reach
that
for
and
like
Legally Blonde.
little this fellas, this girl is not into Care Bears, okay?
Exactly. You give me a bear and I'll probably like burn it. I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
Throw it away.
Just do my way. But anyways, yeah. So
Have you seen The Witch?
not yet. That's on my list too.
His Robert Eggers. He also did a movie with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe called The Lighthouse, which is super creepy. But
I started watching that one.
they just put out the trailer for his new one because it took him a long time to finish because of COVID, which is a Viking revenge story, and
Oh,
it's awesome. It's got the same actress, Anya Taylor Joy, and it's got Alexander Skarsgård and like Nicole Kidman and Ethan Hawke and like Willem Dafoe, and it's just like there's been some pretty good movies about like the Viking era, but like now we know like so much more from like history that it's just like these guys didn't fuck around, and if there was like a blood feud, like people were gonna die badly. There's one part in the trailer, and I won't ruin the trailer. There's one part in the trailer because Alexander Skarsgård has always been a badass ever since the True Blood
Oh
show.
yeah.
There's one part where they're like sneaking up to like attack this village, and the scout like sees them, and the guy like throws a spear, and Alexander Skarsgård just goes like, oh, and he just catches the spear and turns around and throws it back at the guy, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
man, I have to turn in my dude card because I'm never going to be that badass where I just catch a spear and then fucking impale a guy from like 300 yards away. I know it's a movie, but I'm just like, Jesus. That's some
New life
gladiator
goal.
stuff right there.
Oh yeah.
What else was recent that was really good? Trying to think. So that guy, Robert Edgers, is great. I just interviewed last week great screenwriter Sarah Daly, and she
Nice.
is part of a Scottish production company called Hex Media, and
Ooh.
they have some awesome like independent horror stuff. Like they've used this character called Moloch, the Owl Man, and he just became this cultural phenomenon where they've used the character in a couple movies, and it's basically just like a guy in a suit with claws on and like an owl head, and it's so creepy. It's so
Oh, that
fucking
is
creepy. And they just got these locations and rented these like houses and stuff, and it's just now he's such a well-known thing in Scotland that they do pranks with him now. They let
oh
people
my
like spend money, and like you can like rent the crew for a day, and they'll set up a prank on their friends or family, and then the guy will just like go up to somebody, and they'll turn on the light, and they'll just shake the person awake like, I've come for you, and the guy's like pissing their pants like, oh God, why? They're like, oh, I got you, and they're like, yeah, thanks, immortalized
Yeah.
on camera on my own pee. But there's a lot of great stuff out there. So walk me through your experience with Black Mass and stuff. So what kind of stuff have you done stage stuff with them yet? I know they kind of had a limited opening last year with their stage stuff because of COVID, but have you done anything like that yet on stage?
Um, let's see. Well, essentially, technically, my first on-stage experience with them was actually my audition when I was understudying for somebody. I was just kind of taken and thrown into the situation with no prior knowledge, and it was
They're
one
like,
of the
get out
greatest.
there.
Yeah, like go on, do your thing. But it was honestly like the best experience I've ever had. Like audition wise, because it's like, okay, cool, like we're learning, we're adapting, we're overcoming. So that was my first on stage experience with them. I've done a couple virtual shows with
Were the
them,
on
and
stage ones the ones where you guys had to have like the shields and the masks on and stuff?
let's see, we haven't done anything, trying to think, in person on stage with mask, etc. yet. We're doing a lot of training for future experiences. So sign up, apply at Black Mass, the A's are fours at gmail.com.
I know it's so funny whenever I message Raina and I'm just trying to remember like everything because I'm talking to like 10 people at once or thinking about
Fine.
people I've still got to talk to. And then she'll go back and like in her responses, she always puts the fours in. And I'm always like, I know that I'm supposed to do that, but in my head, I'm like, I just want to make sure I spell it right. I'm just
Fine.
like, okay, send. I'm like, fuck, okay. I know that's like a weird like thing because it's like, it helps you remember it though.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have like little business cards with them on it, and we like passing them out wherever, leaving them places at bars, etc. when it's safe to do so. Um, but yeah, it's still to this day like almost 2 years with this group, and I'm like BL4K. Like I have to like consciously think about spelling.
And and if she's watching this, which I know she will, I'm still gonna just write it out because otherwise it's like I'll be like, fuck, what the oh just send. But it got me thinking because to raise funds for the theater for like props and costumes and other things, maybe there's something to what Hex Media is doing that you guys could do in LA with those like immersive like horror like prank things. I
Ooh.
mean, reach out to her, or she's watching this maybe, whenever this goes online. So she or Paul or Jen. That's just something I thought like during the pandemic, like, okay, limited crew. If somebody can pay like a really elaborate prank like $200, but that pays for the crew, and it would only be like a 2-hour thing. Just getting
Yeah.
to wherever you're going to do it, set it up, have the person walk into the lair or the trap, and then spring it, and then you're filming it with 1 or 2 cameras, and you could even do it with iPads and cell phones, so you
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
even need to haul out like a big pro camera. So food for thought. I'm just trying to help everybody out and being like, hey, how can everybody like do stuff plus get free promotion plus maybe we might have to start a little bit lower with the money thing, but then eventually if it catches on, you can charge a little bit more. But food for thought.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really cool concept. Just,
Talk
putting our
about immersive
resources.
theater.
Oh, literally
All
immersive
improv.
theater.
You got to just
Oh,
go with it. Like you have a little
oh,
bit like
definitely.
a paragraph of a setup, and then it's like don't break until this person is like, what the fuck, and you're like, well, actually, what the fuck, rip.
Exactly. Like you just got pranked. Like that one show, God, years ago.
Jamie
I feel
Kennedy
like it was called
experiment, did you
Prank.
ever see that?
I'm sorry?
Jamie Kennedy, he had a great show where they would prank people, and they would all like wear costumes and sometimes makeup and stuff, and he was great. It was called the Jamie Kennedy. He was in like the Scream movies and stuff.
Okay. Oh, nice. I'll have to look into that prank show.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So what were you gonna say?
Oh God. I don't know. My brain is
Just look at my
everywhere.
for fuck's sake mug.
For fuck's sake. Oh, I love that. Mine's just a Seattle, Washington mug.
Oh, that's where
So
they make the
fancy.
Starbucks. That's where they make
It
the
is for
robots that make the coffee that we drink.
exactly. It's
So,
where the
so tell me a little bit about like, ideally, like what moving forward are you thinking about, like writing stuff for stage or writing short film scripts, or where do you kind of want to be maybe like in a year's time on that stuff?
definitely. So recently I've come to the conclusion that I very much want to stay in the realm of immersive theater, because it makes me very happy. It's something I'm passionate about. I definitely want to keep reviewing for Horror Buzz because Horror Buzz, they're the loves of my lives. I'm kidding, but I adore working with them. I adore reviewing and just it's a great group of people to work with. Let's see. I do want to get into writing more to create shows.
Mhm.
So that's something I'm starting to really toy with for this upcoming year. Can't say much, but I'm working on some things. My thoughts are they're flowing onto the paper,
Nice,
so to say. So
nice.
that's kind of my future. Acting more too, that'd be ideal, but yeah.
So tell me, hop in your Wayback Machine, I guess, and tell the folks watching, I guess, are you originally from California or did you move from another state?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in California. I've hopped around from city to city, all in SoCal. I've only been up to NorCal once, fun fact. But
It's like
yeah,
another state. It's like another state up there. You're like, there's space for parking and the gas
there's
isn't that expensive
trees.
and people are
What's a
nice.
tree?
People are nice.
Exactly.
They have whole parks full of trees and not just sidewalks. What is this place? Oh, you mean like the
Literally.
whole world is like this? What?
Wait a minute, it's not a concrete jungle everywhere? There's not
Oh my God.
traffic
I remember
everywhere?
years ago when I moved to California. I'm originally from Ohio. And when I moved to California, and at first it was like, oh, I'm on a vacation or whatever, because it felt like it with all the palm trees and the beaches and stuff. And then after a while, I like, where are the fucking trees? Like, why is my face really hot? And I'm like, oh, that's the sun. What? Ah, God, do I have to like live inside? What is this shit? And so then people were like, it's called sunblock. Oh,
Oh,
oh. But that sizzling is just my skin. Oh, okay.
for real. I'm just burning over here like to become
It's
a bacon
harsh,
crisp.
especially like from the Midwest to come out here. Like I just was not used to it. I make a joke, sunblock if I go to the beach or the pool or something, but yeah, just to be out and about in a parking lot somewhere and be like walking through a Ralph's parking lot in the middle of July with pushing the cart, and I'm like, is my hand like melding to the fucking handle? What the fuck? And then you just see
Yes,
people out there that work there, and they're like, you could just bring that back inside. That'd be great. Greatly appreciated. I'm like, aren't you paid to the doors? And the guy's like, the doors just closed in front of him.
exactly.
I'm
And you're
like,
just like,
no.
literally.
You're one of the outside people now. Sorry. Oh, I'm gonna be a
Exactly.
hideous chud.
I don't want to be
Ew.
outside.
Oh man, this has turned into like the hills have eyes. This is not cool. The outside
Real.
people. You're out there with the outside cat. Oh.
I don't want that, no.
I'm just
But
using the cat to like wipe my sweat off.
literally. I'm just casually just like, no, not sweaty, not sweating at all.
You got
No,
like
the
long
sweat,
hair, so you can just be like, we'll just
literally
put
just
it
like,
like all in front of you, like that. What's that character from the Addams Family thing, where you just have all the hair in front of you and you're just like
just
walking like this? Oh yeah,
boom,
well now you're going like
easy,
totally like that girl from the
full
ring.
grudge.
You're like that girl from the ring, just crawling up
Yeah,
out of like
exactly.
the ground in slow motion. You could just
Can't
do
do that.
that. You could just go into like an Albertsons and just crawl around like that, and people would just be like, they'll take a picture, it'll end up on Instagram, but then they'll be like, oh, there's a sale on pasta. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's just we're so used to seeing random crap in LA where people are like, well, they're probably filming far away with a zoom lens. So, oh, look at there's some applesauce. It's just
It's
so.
just normal LA.
I remember like I was telling Jen too, like years ago, making like horror films and like having like a walkaway lunch, and then you walk into a cafe with like a couple other people, and you're just covered in fake blood, and people would freak out. She was talking about like being covered in blood and having to like walk down to the store to 7-Eleven and get something, and people are just like, hey Jen, and she's like, but fine,
Yep.
like,
Oh
can't get any
yeah.
kind of have you had that experience where you've gone somewhere and you're still like wearing your stuff?
Yes. Usually, thankfully, I've had bloody experiences where I could go home after and it's at nighttime and I'm just praying that I don't get pulled over because that's one hell of a story.
That's when
Um,
you don't want to be
yeah,
noticed by the police, like at a stoplight
exactly.
with the street light on and everything, and they look over at you and you've got like a fake eyeball hanging out. They're just like, Jesus, lady.
Are you okay? No, no, I'm not okay.
Well, the joke, and I said this to Sarah Daly too, which is if you're out and about filming something and somebody slows down, the thing that I think we all have to start saying is, 911 or movie.
Exactly.
It's
Well,
like, well, movie. They're like, oh, thank God. Like we were like far
yeah.
away and we saw this guy get shot and it looked so real. And they're like, oh yeah, awesome.
Say, oh wait, that's not a filming? Oh shoot, who's calling 911?
I know, but it's like when really bad stuff happens, if you've seen like YouTube videos or anything, where it's just like people just are like, oh, 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 I don't want to go to court. I don't want to be a witness. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah, like
They don't want to
um
get involved. So it's like, I don't know what's worse, if it's real or if it's fake. I feel like if it's fake, they're like, oh, I could be an extra. I could just be like that
yeah.
guy in the background that's like, there's something bad happening.
And it's like, no, continue on with their day. You do
I
not want to
love
be
those
here all
people,
day.
like if you watch the news and something horrible happens. I mean, I don't like when something horrible happens, but there's always that guy or girl when the reporter's like on the scene, when somebody in the background is just like this, like they're just like, it was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Like,
or they're the ones
who's
that were just
they
like,
have like the police tape up and like who's this random guy that just like hops in and his eyes are always like this and he's just like, wouldn't recommend it.
and I'm just like, who are you? What are you
Where
doing
how did they
here?
get past? There's always that one guy that
Yeah.
was just like, you better move out of the neighborhood.
You're just like, how did you get here? Like,
And then the person,
sir.
like the reporter, is just like, "Do you want anything to say?" And like, "Oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be like implicated." Why are you?
Sir, you just okay, whatever. But
So here's a question for you, a horror question for you, and you can put this to Jen or Raina or Paul whenever you talk to them again.
ooh.
What is something that you always wanted to see used as like a weapon or like a killing tool in a horror movie or something similar that you haven't seen done yet?
Ooh. I haven't thought of this
Spooky
question
stuff.
before. Okay, I'm gonna just look around my room real quick because, like,
Don't be like grabbing a
jeez.
book and saying, "Oh, paper cut to death." He hurt, and then we'll put some lemon in it. Ah.
Honestly, I would love to see somebody use a candle snuffer to kill somebody because it's different. You could do different things with it as well. It's a versatile weapon, I'm basically saying. So therefore,
I almost feel like that would be something in a horror comedy where Dane Cook would be playing the snuffer. Just like,
yes.
they're like, dude, we're not even on fire. There's nothing flammable. Yeah, well, and then it's like hitting on the shoulder and it doesn't do anything. Oh, you have to turn it around. Oh,
Oh,
God, I'm
bad.
bleeding now. That's bad.
Turn it around, go for
Has
the eyes.
anybody ever been killed with a Christmas tree? Like actually like taking the tree, star and all. Maybe
No,
you got to take the star or the angel off the tree, but just
I don't think so. I would love to see that though. That I mean, not like for real, but like in a movie, that'd be really cool.
film it 11.
I'm
Yeah.
like, don't ruin Christmas that way, guys. Like, don't kill people with Christmas trees.
Maybe it'll be in that Northman movie. Like somebody will just
There we
grab
go.
like one of those big burly dudes will just grab like a small pine tree out of the ground and just like
I mean, it makes sense. It's a logical weapon to use, but it's a very unyieldy one to
and the
use.
line
Like,
of the quip always is going to end with the word motherfucker anyway. It's going to be like ho 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 motherfucker and then
Merry Christmas, motherfucker. Like
I
so many lines.
I've never seen anybody get killed like with like pumpkin patch vines. Like a
Ooh,
pumpkin, you can just hit people and
yeah.
throw a giant jack o' lantern like off of an expressway bridge and on a windshield. But like an actual like vine, I don't know. Like I've seen like vines come alive in like a jungle and strangle somebody, but not like somebody in a pumpkin patch. It's just it's the last trick or
Yeah.
treat.
Oh my goodness, that's making me think of like how to use that like to kill somebody. But I
I
mean,
know,
like
and
I'm
it's
not
like then
going
you
to.
got to get all
We don't do murder.
practical about it. Like, well, you don't want to hurt your hands.
Yeah.
Um,
Aren't they like prickly? Like the vines kind of like they're like
maybe
rough
I'm trying to
and
think of the last
weird.
time. It's been a couple of years since I've been to an actual pumpkin patch. So
I've never
I think you got to go up to like Calabasas and like really kind of far where there's like what I like to call like plants where they
Wait,
grow out of the ground. It's got what plants?
plants grow out of the
I know, but
ground?
they're all plastic.
Oh my God.
I'd
This
like to
that's
see
news to
somebody
me.
get killed with like a lamp post, like an actual,
Ooh.
not one from the street, but like
The
it's
entire lamppost just
got to be.
ah.
I know it's a whole Viking thing, but you got to get a dude to do that, a huge burly dude,
Oh yeah.
or woman, and just to take like the shade off of it and just be like. I feel like I saw some movie where somebody got the light bulb in the eye socket.
I feel like that too, or like somebody broke a light bulb and used the shards. Maybe.
That I've seen glass and stuff like that. So I've seen somebody get their head smashed in with a microwave, which is just like that's a lot of
Oh,
effort. Like you got to keep the
yeah.
person or killer at bay. Then you got to like unplug the microwave. I mean, just use the cord and just strangle them if they're down. It reminds
Exactly.
me
That's
of
like,
that line from Wayne's World where the creepy roadie guy was just like trying to get a glass of M&Ms for somebody. He's telling a story, and he was like, "Then the shopkeeper and his wife, they caught us, and they wouldn't let us go. So then I had to beat them to death with their own shoes." I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's examine that
like,
for a
hold
minute.
up.
Like, hold on, hold on. You're telling me you subdued two people, got them on the ground. I don't know if you have to lay on top of both of them, untie their shoes from their feet, pull them off, and they're not going to be docile. They're not just going to be like, just kill me. So they're going to, and then you have to get their shoes off, and then you have to beat, like, are you doing one at a time? Are you beating them both? Like,
Yeah. I
are
mean,
they
like two
chasing
shoes.
them around the store, beating them, and like with their shoes? I mean, they could be like slippers, moccasins.
Yeah,
They could be Converse. They could be anything. I mean, people use UGG boots. Those are practically just like stuffed animals that you
they
wear on your
are.
feet. So thanks, Mike Myers, because sometimes people write these lines and you're like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
With
Like,
their own
how?
shoes? Wait, with your shoes, maybe? Oh,
Yeah.
that just sounds exhausting.
It's not practical at
That's
all.
why it's funny and not scary because you're like, what the fuck? I've never seen anybody break like off a palm frond from a palm tree and
Oh,
then like
yeah.
stab somebody with that because I know that the leaves are really sharp, right?
Oh, they're very sharp and they're not fun to hold. So
Hmm.
that would be cool to see.
I've never seen anybody get their eye suctioned out or scooped out with like one of those old school like egg holders.
Ah.
You know those little old fashioned, like you put the egg and then you tap it with a spoon. Like you don't really see them anymore, but I've seen them in movies and stuff. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to go antiquing for that.
Yeah, no,
That's
you're gonna
for
have to
the
hit
discerning serial killer.
exactly the one who does it for the aesthetic.
I would like for a funny part in a horror movie if somebody would go into a DVD collection and be like, "You fucking own this," and they take the DVD out and they break the DVD and then they stab somebody with the half of the disc and be like, "That's what you fucking get.
Like, how dare
You have two
you?
copies of this, fucker."
This isn't Blu-ray.
Like Howard the Duck, like you should die anyway. Um,
Exactly.
let's see. I mean, I've seen people get killed with like picture frames, but mainly it's just to like break the glass and get a shard of glass.
Yeah, the shard. That's boring.
Um,
They could do better.
I would love to see somebody get killed by a parked car.
Yo, that'd be lit.
Like literally, like they've got an arrow or a cleaver or a knife stuck into them, and they've got something on their or blood on their eyes, and they're just running. All of a sudden, they just trip, and then they fall onto the trunk like, and their chest is just like ah. And then the cops
That
are
would
just
be
like,
wild.
"It's gonna be hard to write down. What do we report for this? Killed by a parked car. It's fucked up, right?"
Oh my God, that just thinking of all these scenarios and like the legal, the police reports and that kind of documentation and the evidence, it's just how would you it would sound made up in court?
Or
But
like these copycat killer people that see things in movies and then they recreate them,
oh
and then it's
God,
just like Exhibit A, the plot of Scream 3, or something like that, where you're like,
here's blood on eyes, sends
Um,
towards
I'd
parked
like to see
car.
somebody get killed with a putty knife that they use to
Oh,
cover up like holes in drywall. That'd be kind of cool.
that would
I
be
feel like I've
cool.
seen people get killed with a nail gun,
Yeah,
hammer, of course, most
staple
like
gun.
a plunger.
Ooh,
That's a lot of
that'd
work.
be that would be that's like it's
Unless you
like
just sharpen the end of it, like with a vampire, and it then turns into a steak. But I'd like to see somebody get killed by those metal bases that they put Christmas trees in, where you pour the water. It's
yes.
got like the metal ring, and you could totally swing it, and then it's got the pot thing where you could just kind of put your hand in and grip it. Like clearly, I've thought about this a lot. I've had a lot of free time.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
And I
Merry
write a lot.
Christmas,
You
you
can
know?
understand. I write a lot of horror stuff too. So, um, what else?
I
I
know,
like to see
right?
some.
Like
Oh, I'd
looking.
like to see somebody get killed with gift cards.
Yes. You use the gift cards and then you reuse them. Reuse, recycle.
I
Boom,
mean,
covered.
once you use the money on it, it's just a piece of plastic. So,
Exactly. So you gotta, it's good for the environment.
And you know, the tag for that movie already writes itself, which is like, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
For real. Oh my God. That is
Um,
hilarious.
Jesus. Oh, I'd like to see somebody get, and then you'd have to have maybe like a gun hidden inside of it, but those plastic containers for cereal. You know how it's got the pop
Ooh.
top and you pour the cereal in and then you can just pour the cereal out. But like the
Ooh.
guy rips off the top and reaches in and he doesn't have time to get his hand out. So he has his hand and his gun wrapped by like Fruit Loops or something and he just holds it up and shoots,
Yes.
and then Fruit Loops shoot out. But then later you're like, oh, there was a bullet in there and it wasn't like deadly Fruit Loops.
Which would be another cool way to, kill somebody with Fruit Loops.
Oh, and I don't know if you've heard, we've had this like really, really horrible situation with garbage pickup here. I'm in Fullerton, where they went on strike. So it's been 3 weeks since we've had garbage pickup.
No. Oh, that's
And so unfortunately, there's been a lot of like dead animals because there's just trash everywhere. So the animals are getting in and like the fluids are mixing together, and they're drinking stuff from like spilled like antifreeze bottles and
oh
oil
no.
and then kids are getting hurt. But for like horror movie enthusiasts, I thought like it'd be really fucked up if this is so horrible because people have
No,
been
go
getting
for
hurt,
it.
but to get killed by trash where it's like somebody's just like, oh, Michael Myers or Jason or something just picks somebody up and they're like, oh, and then the guy just falls in and he's like, ah, and then they have to like run over when the killer leaves. The heroes like run around the corner and they find the guy in trash, and then he's just been pierced and cut and slimed and burned like battery acid and whatever, just death by trash. It was like 6 different things. So I mean, I've never seen that before.
Me either. That'd be very impressive and also
Woe be
extremely
the actor who's
disgusting.
climbing into that shit. But
Not me. No, I'm kidding. I'd do it. I
has
would go for it.
anybody ever been killed like someone forcing their face into a puddle, like drowning in a puddle?
Not a puddle explicitly, but that's very much possible.
That's really practical. It's just you
That could be.
got to make sure that your actor can hold their breath.
Oh yeah, definitely. We love
And there's
simulated
no good
drowning.
clean puddle. There's no like going and pouring
No.
like Aquafina into like a hole. No, it's
Nope.
dirt. So if you gotta
It's
just be
dirty
like,
water.
this is my future Academy Award nominated performance. Whole face, just she was such a trooper. We told her she didn't really have to do it that long, but she just kept going for it.
She just kept going. She wanted the good shot.
After a while, we weren't even filming anymore. We were just over there eating like cheeses.
Exactly. And she's still going strong.
Has anybody been? I feel like I needed to just walk into like a Home Depot and be like, yes, no, yes, no.
Or in IKEA too. IKEA works too.
Oh, has anybody been bludgeoned to death with like those big like plastic scanners in the self checkout?
Oh, I haven't seen it, but that'd be a very good weapon. That's a heavy thing.
And this is horrible too, but I've always wanted to see like in a movie like if someone's chasing like a bad guy through a store, and there's like the table outside, right outside the door of the front door, where they have like a table set up with Girl Scouts and have them come up and just like just like pick up the girl, unwrap her like green vest, and then just choke the guy with the green vest and have the girl just be like, ah. And then when the guy said, like, it's okay, Sally, he was a bad man, and I'll take a box of Thin Mints.
Would that merit earning a badge for that Girl Scout? Like,
You
oh
gotta
my.
wonder, like, where so many times I've been freaked out because I've gone to the store and I've seen like 2 or 3 girls between the ages of like 7 and like 12, and I'm like, where's the fucking adults? Like, anything?
Yeah.
Are they just in their car, like, just let me know when it's been 2 hours, girls. I'll take you out to like Pizza Hut.
Exactly. Or they're like Stacy's mom. Well, Stacy is the mom, and Stacy and Lacey are there just gossiping about the town stuff, far away from the children who are just selling these cookies. And you're like, there's too much trust here in society. Like, I wouldn't trust my little child out there. Like, no.
Years ago, back in the dark days when I had to work Black Fridays, I worked at
Oh God,
a
hated that.
Best Buy, and so many times, I think I did like 2 or 3 Black Fridays when they would like open the door and people just stampede in and just punch in the neck for microwaves and TVs. But people would go and they would run up those movable staircases, and then they would just knock shit off the top trying to get what they want. And I just thought
No.
it'd be a shame if one of those movable staircases fell on somebody's skull.
Oh, what a happy accident there. No,
Oh,
I'm
maybe
kidding.
took out a couple of other losers on the way down. Just,
Ooh,
I mean,
like
the thing is, like,
what?
it's horrible to say, but it's like so many times I've seen what I just call like moms on crack or something, where they just
Oh God,
and
yeah.
they're like punching each other in the throat and
Oh, they're
headlocking
ruthless.
and knocking shit over. And I'm just like, just to get one thing or two things, because it's like a 70% off sale. And it's just like, that's the scary side of humanity, when it's just like, you want this thing. And then the best justice is if they would get to the checkout lane, 15 minutes later, and then like they put it on the conveyor and it's like, they're like, let me check this for you, ma'am. No, no, it's fine. Let me check this for you, ma'am. And they open it up, and that glass plate inside the microwave is just shattered. And they're like, bitch. They're just so pissed. And I'm just standing there like
Karma.
100 yards away going like,
They're ruthless. Honestly, shoppers on Black Friday are ruthless.
tell
Like,
me you don't do that. Tell me you're like more like Amazon laid back right now.
okay, so
Like, here's the thing.
I'm not like the intense people. What growing up,
You're
growing
like,
up,
I
like,
got a motherfucker, but only if they're in my path.
if it's a deal that I need, I will throw
I need that
punches.
microwave. That's
If
it.
somebody takes it out of my hand, I will fight you. That is pretty much assault. You are assaulting me. No, I'm kidding. But no, growing up, my cousin and I thought it was a great time to go at 3 a.m. just to go, shopping once it's died
Yeah, I
down and
see that.
everybody's
It's kind of the
home
fun of getting out for the Christmas stuff.
at 3 a.m. because we're like, we can't normally be out at
Right, right,
3
right.
a.m.
But now, I don't
Now,
know.
yeah, we didn't go this year. We were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. I did go shopping during normal hours on Black Friday, got a cool coat for $11, so it was worth it. Um,
You're like, I didn't
but
have to
yeah,
elbow anybody, really.
I did it. I did see somebody who was very much pursuing a different method of shopping than me that was more aggressive. Um,
They came in with a
yeah,
gun, and you're all like,
yeah. And I'm like, ma'am, this is a thrift store. You are getting too aggressive for the vibes in here. Like these, whatever's attached to these items are just energy wise, they're not digging your vibe.
oh
Um,
my God. And I got so over, especially when I transferred and I was doing something similar here in LA. And I got so over like the really affluent older women. They would come in and it was always the same word whenever they're talking to an employee or manager, which was always unacceptable.
yep. I'm pretty sure I heard her say that when the person was like, "Oh yeah, that's not discounted."
That's not
Yeah.
acceptable. Don't you know who I think I am?
And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm just trying to buy my coat and get out of here. Like, can you speed this up?"
Oh, and I wrote a short film a few years ago, and I had a character based on this. When I more than once I would see these women in like fur coats, and it's like July, and they're coming through places, and they're literally got the perpetual wine glass holding hand. There's nothing in here. They're just holding it out like this, which is always they're questioning everything. And then they've got the black Amex card, and they're just dropping it on the conveyor or in front of the cashier on the counter, because they
Oh yeah.
can't have the human contact and they can't make eye contact because they're
Mm-mm.
different
And they have the
different
shades
social
on.
classes. Yeah, they always have the Jackie Onassis like black thick eyeglasses on and everything. And they're like, have it brought to the car. And there's like no one there. And like, who are you talking to?
And it's
And,
like, ma'am, you need to take your own bags to your
and
car.
then she's like,
No,
that's
unacceptable.
not going to help us take stuff out to your car. Like, by the way, you're in a dollar store.
Yeah,
You bought
exactly.
like cheese and like hot dog buns and like a jar of pickles. It's in a bag. Here you go.
Exactly. And then there's like other people, like I'm, me personally, whenever I'm going to like any store and like I have multiple bags in my trunk, I'm like, I'm taking all these in one trip. I'm not going back to my car for anything.
Are you
If I'm
like,
like dragging these things, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just like bag here, bag here, bag here, all the bags. And I'm like, God forbid I like
Mrs.
go back
Claus
to my
has to
car.
buy things
It's not
too?
worth it. Exactly. Like, oh God, that's gonna be me today. I have to do most of my shopping today
Oh,
for
you're Christmas
Christmas.
shopping?
So
No, you're
yeah,
not gonna
later
go to
today, oh,
the
most of it.
mall, are you?
God forbid it, I have to.
So your middle name
Yeah,
is now Death Wish.
yeah, I'm dreading it, honestly. And I'm
Eat
like, okay,
before you
well,
go. Eat before you go because you don't want to
there
get
we go.
sucked into that like whole S snake line thing where you're all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was at Penny's and I've been in line for like Jamba Juice the whole time. What the?
I'm like, Jamba Juice isn't real food. I need real
I know,
food.
but like
But
there's like ever since I want to say, and I haven't been to the mall recently, but people have been telling me like since uh Friday the 17th that it's
oh,
just wall to wall people from like when they open to close, depending on like where you are and like the sales and the certain stores that are in there. And then people have been like telling me like, how did I get in the Starbucks line? Like I was at the Apple store and then I was at Sephora and then now I'm wait, I don't want Starbucks. What? Like the guy's like, sir, pick a line. I'm like, well, there's
I
50
don't
people
know.
here. Pick a line. I can't move.
Like which line? Well,
That's something I
I
haven't seen too much of. I've seen two zombie movies in the mall, and I want to say they were both the Dawn of the Dead movies, the original and the
okay.
remake. So I don't know. Have there been anything else taking place at a mall? I don't think so.
I don't think
Because that really
so.
lends itself to like, well, we're gonna kill people in interesting ways. Like, has anybody ever been killed on an escalator, like in a movie?
Ooh, I don't think so. And then see, my brain just goes to, oh, the last movie I saw that took place in a mall was a holiday romantic comedy. And I'm like, that's not death.
You're like, we're having the best time. We're gonna be happily ever after. Your scarf.
Oh my, Jake Gyllenhaal's scarf. Don't get me started on Taylor Swift. Oh my God. Like, Red album, the remake, all too well. 10 I played, okay, so real quick side tangent. I went to a bar recently that was like basically a lot of middle-aged people were drunk in it, so not the Taylor Swift era, folks.
You'd be
There's a
surprised.
ju-
Some
there
people
is
would just be
that is
like,
true.
I have the original CDs and the redos.
Yeah,
The
I'm all for
pre-tape
that.
ones. Yeah, go ahead.
But anyways, there was a jukebox, and your girl loves jukeboxes. I was in a mood that day, and I put on Taylor Swift's All Too Well 10-minute version. I made people listen to 10 minutes worth of Taylor Swift. And one lady came up to me, she's like, did you put this on? And I'm like, yes, I did. She's like, it better be the short one. I'm like, nope, 10 minutes. You're going to think about Jake Gyllenhaal this entire time. So, yeah, that
You
was
know
my bar
what? Like, you'd be
experience.
surprised. You go to some bars or some restaurants where they have a jukebox, and some of them have the ability to play like an entire album. Sometimes some of those things on the jukebox, I'm like, wait a minute, is this like an entire like Christmas playlist that is literally just it just never ends? It's like 4 hours long. The
You're
worst is
giving
if
me
you go to like the
ideas.
mall and you go to like whatever some of the chain stores like an Abercrombie or Finch, and you don't even go in, you just walk by, and then you're walking around and you still hear that music, and it's literally just every once in a
It's
while.
just haunting you.
And then later I'm walking by and I'm like, is that the same fucking song? I've been here for an hour and a half. And inside everybody's just doing this.
Yeah,
Like they're
literally.
little
And then
zombies. They're just like they can't move. They're just slaves to the beat. And they're just like Like, I don't want to get this thing by that chick that does TikTok, that does dance moves, that has her own show, that has like her own drink at Dunkin' Donuts. But the beach
Addison
is
Rae.
killing me. Or what's the other girl? Charlie?
Oh, I Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah, but seriously, like you go into one of those places and it's just like, you guys haven't gone outside in a while, have you? Because they're all just like,
Are you guys okay? Blink twice if you need help.
we're fine. You might also know us as the Stepford Wives. It's
For
like you want to be
real.
like, can I
Poking
get a
their
gift
eye and they're
card? And
not
they're like,
blinking.
what's that? Peace out.
Lit fam.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I can't believe it's been an hour already.
I know, it flew by.
I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to say thanks for being on the show, and I wanted to give you a few minutes here to like plug any of your social media, website, IMDb, like whatever you want to get the word out on. If you give you a few minutes for that.
Of course. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Let's see. On Instagram, my name is Linnea C. Swanson, LINNEA like Ron Swanson. No relation there. Let's see. Also, you can follow Black Mass. We've got some exciting things coming up. On Instagram, we are BL4KM4SS. Stay tuned for that stuff. As always, also follow Horror Buzz. We review anything horror movies, games, immersive theaters where I reside in that realm. But yeah, we're doing cool things over in the world of Linnea, so stay tuned.
The world of Linnea. Like,
Yes,
welcome
the
to my
world of Linnea.
world.
Welcome to the
You're
world
like,
of
in my
Linnea.
car.
And wish me luck on Christmas shopping today. It will be a immersive experience.
You know what you should do is, I don't know if you have like a Velcro kind of like harness or something you could put
Oh,
like
I do
right
not.
on your chest or your stomach, and then just one of those over the shoulder like baby holder things, but just put your phone on record and just record the whole thing, and then half of it's going to be like, ow, damn it. Like,
Man.
I just kind of like get around and jostle people. And when you get home, you're going to be like, I'm putting this on YouTube as a document of my experience. The entire video lasted 17 minutes.
I was
And you're
headed
like
out. I just
crying, like your mascara is like all over the place. And you're
running
like,
and
but
just
they
a
gave me a
mess.
gift card, so it's all good.
They gave me a coupon for $2 off in the February of 2020.
This gift card must not be used until May of 2022.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Linnea. I had an awesome time. We had some good laughs talking about the world and how crazy it is, and
Literally.
all the awesome horror stuff and everything you're involved in. So all I got to say is like best of luck to you. I think 2022 is going to be a great year for you. So
Thank you. I
thank you.
appreciate it. And thank you for having me on here. I had an amazing time.
Awesome. I had a feeling you would, but all right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye.